Hello everybody, welcome back to another DeGoofNoob video, and today I'm going to be doing a flight sim tutorial. So today we are spawned in Toronto International Airport and we will be flying to Chicago. I will be teaching you guys how to start up your plane. So let's jump right into the flight deck. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is give power to our aircraft. So you would go to the overhead panel and turn the battery on and the ground power on. You would also turn your hydraulic systems on. These will help us move our control surfaces. So our control surfaces are, for example, our ailerons, which are moving right now. This helps us turn the plane. Our elevators, which I'm moving right now, help us climb and descend, and also our flaps and spoilers. We would also turn our engine bleed on and put our strobe lights to steady and wheel well lights to on. Once you're done with that, we want to do some fire tests. The first thing we want to do is do an engine fire test. So flip this switch right here to the left. You should see these two lights turn on. Then flip the switch to the right and you should get an alarm. To disable this alarm, just press master caution and fire warning. Once you're done with that, switch your fire test back to normal. Now we want to do our cargo fire test. Press this little button right here. All of these lights in this small panel should illuminate. Then go up here and disable the alarm. Now we will perform a stall warning test. So go up here to the upper overhead panel and press the stall number 1 test and the stall number 2 test. Perfect. Now we will perform a lights test. So flip that switch right there and check if all the lights are working. You'll also hear a beeping sound during this test, so do not get worried about that. As you can see, the engine lights will not turn on, which are these lights right here. They will not turn on because they illuminated during the fire test that we performed earlier. Once we're done with this test, you can switch this off. Now we want to program our minimum flap retraction altitude. To do that, we have to flip this, our minimum flap retraction altitude. So our minimum flap retraction altitude is the altitude which, in the case of an engine failure, we would retract our flaps and return back to the airport. So to modify it, you can just turn this knob. And as you can see, this number right here will start rising. Now, you're probably wondering, what altitude do I have to put this at? So, today we're in Toronto, and Toronto is at 560 feet. So, we'll just simply add 1,000 feet to that. And that is our minimum flap retraction. So, 1,000, 560. Perfect. You would also turn your VOR switches on and turn on your terrain, your data, your airports, and your waypoints. These will all show up here on this map right here. At this point, we'll go set up our FMC. Our FMC is down here, and it may look complicated, but it really isn't. On the actual screen, we have a scratch pad, which is this area right here. This is where we would write our data for our flight plan. So if there's something written in the scratch pad, just press clear, and it will clear out. If these parentheses do not appear, press clear as well. The first thing we want to do is press RTE. Today, we are spawned in at Toronto, which is CYYZ. Now just type that into your scratch pad. You would then fill in the origin area. As you can see, the squares have gotten filled in and the scratch pad has been cleared. Now we want to type in our destination airport. My destination is Chicago O'Hare, which is KORD. You do the same thing on the destination side of the screen. You'd also choose a flight number. This really doesn't matter, but I usually go with N00B3R, which is Nuber. When you're done with that, just press the execute button and your flight plan will be executed. Now, we want to choose our departure and arrival procedures. So press the departure button, which is aligned with Toronto. Now here we have two columns. We have runways and SIDS. Runways are the runways that are at the airport, and SIDS are the procedures that you use to depart from the airport. So today, I'm going to be departing from runway 33 left. My SID is going to be, my SID instead is going to be Tulek 2. And my trans waypoint, which is pretty much a waypoint that you use to engage this procedure, will be Hockey. When you're done, execute that. And as you can see, that will show up right here in your flight plan. Now, press the departure arrival button again. You want to choose a arrival for Chicago O'Hare. So let's do that. Now for our arrival, we will choose our star first. A star is pretty much a SID, but for arrivals. So it is a procedure that you use to arrive to the airport. Our star will be BDF5, and we will go there through the Bailey waypoint. For our approach, we'll go for an ILS approach. So if the runway has ILS in front of it, it is an ILS approach. And ILS stands for Instrument Landing System. So this pretty much is the best way that you can use to land at an airport. So I'm going to be landing at ILS 04 right, trans round. You can execute that and go to legs. Here we will see all of our waypoints. To scroll through all of the pages, just press next page. And as you can see, there is a discontinuity. To fill that in, just press the waypoint after the discontinuity, which in our case is Bailey, and fill the discontinuity in. And as you can see, Bailey will move one step back into the discontinuity. Now fill in all discontinuities. And as you can see, there are no other discontinuities, so we can execute that. And as you can see, our flight plan is in place. At this point in the flight, we go back to our overhead panel, turn the yaw damper on, turn our fuel pumps on, and check the crossfeed valve. Wait for the light to illuminate, and then turn the crossfeed valve off. At this point, you would also turn on your APU and your APU generator. Turn your fasten seatbelt sign on. Turn your window heat on. And turn your APU bleed air. So you're probably wondering, we're turning all these things on for the APU. But you probably don't know what the APU is. Well, the APU is actually a small engine which is hidden in the back of the plane. And as you can see, there's these two holes in the back of the plane, which are, for example, the exhaust pipes for this small engine. This small engine gives us power while we are, for example, pushing back, because the engines will still not be on. So So that's just a little bit of insight on the APU. Go back to the overhead panel, and as you can see, the APU is at almost full power. So we can turn off ground power. Now we will set up our autopilot. So first of all, you want to change your bank angle. So to do that, just turn that knob that is behind the first yellow knob to 20. Then you would go to your FMC and look at the heading of your second waypoint, which in our case is 327 degrees. So you would put 327 degrees in your autopilot. Perfect. Then you would see the heading of your first waypoint, which is 226 degrees, and fill that in on your course. Also do that on the co-pilot side. Then you would fill in your cruising speed, which in our case will be 250 knots. And our cruising altitude, which for us will be 33,000 feet. Also, don't forget to fill in your cruising altitude up here on the overhead panel. You will never get the exact number on this particular instrument, so don't try. When you're done with that, turn on your flight director switches. Once you're done with that, we are ready for a push and start. We're gonna be pushing back right. Just call the pushback cart and go to your overhead panel quickly and turn on your anti-collision lights. Just like that. When the pushback cart is not visible anymore, turn off your parking brakes. And once we've been pushing back, we can start our first engine. So to do that, we will have to just flip our first starter to ground. Now, as you can see here, there are some numbers. When this number reaches 25, pump the mixture all the way up. I did it a bit late just because I was explaining. But you have to put the mixture lever all the way up to idle. When our first engine is stable, you can start your second engine, or engine 1. Now do as I said with the mixture. Put it all the way up when you reach 25. Now go to the outside view and just check if your engines are running properly or if there's any leaks. We're looking pretty good. Now we can go back to our cockpit view and we will just wait until the pushback cart has pushed us back. As soon as the push cart leaves, turn on your parking brakes. Tomorrow I will be posting a video on how to taxi and take off. So stay tuned for that. I hope you guys have a great day. See you tomorrow.